for Thank You Next. Tonight, we're saying thank you next to gender-based pandemic roadblocks and thank you, yes, to Edmonton-made solutions. My name is Sarah Chan from the Alberta Mentoring Partnership, and I am your MC. Please change your name to the name you used when you registered and your pronouns. And that's going to help our production crew organize the breakout rooms, which will be happening as I walk you through how the evening is going to go. If you have not, oh, hello. That's how the evening is going to go. If you have not read the email you received earlier today, I would highly recommend you go find it. And the finer points of the evening will be outlined there. While we meet today on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we call home. We acknowledge the ancestral territory of all the Indigenous peoples, including Cree, Blackfoot, Métis, Nakota Sioux, Iroquois, Dene, Ojibwe, Saulteaux, Anishinaabe, Inuit, and many other whose histories, languages, and cultures continue to influence our vibrant community. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility to improve relationships between nations and improve our understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. Please join me in a moment of reflection to acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and to consider how we can each, in our own way, try to move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. I have a virtual assistant tonight, Peg. Peg is the Intervivos mascot. Peg can't speak, so they are sharing tips in the info in our and information in the chat box. You can talk to Peg at any point in time. We have many board members and volunteers from Intervivos on the Zoom call tonight. Can you please give everyone a virtual wave? Fun looking crew. Intervivos is very lucky to have the support of many local companies and individuals. For this event, our presenting sponsor is Park Power. They're a friendly local utilities provider. Now, we're also lucky to have Chris Kasowski here from Park Power. So Chris, can you give everybody a wave?
I don't know if he's here yet.
I can't, because of the nature of the way my video stuff is set up.
You don't believe he's here yet?
I don't see anyone. I'm just going to assume it's all happening. That's okay.
He's virtually.
Let's feel his good vibes from the universe's energy. Thanks, Chris. We also have several other local companies sponsoring our event tonight. Pipi Guan Pita Guan, Bamboo Ballroom, The Common, Ruby Gorgeous Salon, Token Natural, Mock-Up Mocktails, Peter DeVos Consulting, and Donut Party. Yes, lots of friends. It's time to get to know each other better. First, our expert speakers and the reason why we're here tonight. Thanks in advance for the time, by the way. I'll call on each speaker and they're going to share their name, a little bit about themselves, and answer a fun question. What was your pandemic binge? So please only take 2 minutes to answer. We'll have more time to get to know each other in the breakout rooms. So I will go first. I am Sarah Chan from Alberta Mentoring Partnerships. I lead community engagement there, but in my other life, I am trained as a classical musician and have been working with youth in music and all sorts of other social advocacy for many years now. I'm also the founder and ambassador, I think they call me, of Make Your Mark, which is a youth initiative I started at United Way here in the Alberta Capital Region. Pandemic binge. Mine was not a show, but if it was a show, it would have been All of Us Are Dead, which is a Korean, it's a K show about zombies in high school, but it's not about zombies in high school, except it is about zombies in high school. Everyone has perfect skin. And the other binge, which is not a show, was yoga. I did a lot of yoga to survive this pandemic, and it was good for me. So without further ado, let's meet our other experts. First up, we have Cynthia Decor, our expert on access to healthy and safe spaces. Cynthia.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Decor. Pronouns are they, them, or she, her, but I prefer they, them. I'm a chronically ill, neurodivergent, immunocompromised, non-binary queer person in Edmonton. And I primarily write on Instagram under Disabled Discourse, which is a space by and for disabled conversations that aren't based on oppression, but are more based on our collective culture, values that emerge from the way that we take care of each other, and just the emotional experience, I guess, of being disabled during a pandemic. I think Disabled Discourse is actually my pandemic binge too. I spent the first half of the pandemic with my health at the worst that it ever was, and I wasn't able to take care of myself or do very much. And then I finally got treatment after 10 years, and I immediately started this account, and it's almost a year old now. So that's all I've been doing for the last year.
Thank you, Cynthia. Next up, we have Ellie McDine, who will be leading our discussion on growing a career in the face of uncertainty. Ellie?
Thanks so much, Sarah. Ellie McDine. My day job is Director of Member Journey Transformation. Other than that, I'm a queer, recently out trans woman. So I like to fashion myself a unofficial trans joy advocate. I came out fairly late in life at 34, 35, and just have had this really amazing experience of community and authenticity. And it's just been complex, but really beautiful. My binge are two things. I fell in love with a show called Station 11 on HBO, which was about a pandemic, which seems like really dark and you don't want to go there. But it really is more about kind of, at the end of the day, it's all about community and wanting to create things with like-minded people and recovery and all sorts of things. Other than that, my other binge probably would be I had to learn like makeup skills and like aesthetics, and I had a whole bunch of time at home. And so I got really into design and fashion, and I kind of fell in love with this whole world. And so that was a big part of it. And I have two young kids, Harrison and Archer, 5 and 3. And that's keeps me very busy kind of in any other hour that's kind of not taken up. And I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Amazing, Ellie. Thanks for joining us. Next up, we have Funky Alokud, our diversity and allyship champion.
Thank you. Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Good evening. So my name is Funky, Funky, whatever you want to call me, that's fine. Just come talk to me. That's all I always say. So I'm the current executive director of the Ribbon Rouge Foundation. So at the Ribbon Rouge Foundation, we do a lot of work with African, Caribbean, Black communities, specializing and also really focusing on health equity between ACB community members and others who are not within the community. I also work as an educator at Northwest College, teaching fun things as they come up in the equity, diversity, and inclusion space as well. I am also the co-founder of Hexagon Wellness Solutions. It's just something that came up, maybe part of my binge. I would say transitioning into my binge was just one of the things that came up during the pandemic for me, was beginning to look at and reimagine wellness in a different way, beyond what we understand it traditionally to be, and just including other things that we would not necessarily think about as wellness. So that was one of the things that the pandemic taught me very, very early on, and I decided to binge on that and read up on it more, and ended up creating and co-founding a company. Another binge I had was I discovered Disney Plus. And I watched a lot of Mickey Mouse shows. Was kind of nostalgic just watching Mickey Mouse shows from my childhood, and also introducing those shows to my children as well. A different kind of Mickey Mouse versus what they know right now. So it was also, I have 2 kids, 11 and 6, and just spending a lot of time to build a lot of memories and a lot of uncertain times with them as well. So that's how I spent my pandemic, being what I spent my pandemic binging on. And I look forward to amazing conversations and getting to know more people and create more friendships and relationships tonight as well.
Thank you, Funky. I actually wrote down your Ribbon Rouge thing. I will follow up with you tomorrow about that when we go back to work. Odin Welch is also with us. They will be leading our discussion on mental health impacts. Odin?
Thanks, Sarah, and Inter Vivos and Peg. This is so exciting to see everyone's faces again virtually. My name is Odian Welch. A lot of you know me from the Africa Center. I am one of the masterminds behind the mental health programming and it's a long title, but Western Canada's first free Black-focused counseling clinic. Although it is open to all individuals, it just has that cultural lens. And when I'm not doing that, some of you may know me as the Amazon bestselling author of Breakthrough. So when I'm not binging on all of those things, because they are a lot of time, during the pandemic, I actually worked on my master's and completed that. So that took a huge amount of time for me. Just finished a couple of weeks ago. And so when I wasn't, that was like a binge in a weird way. However, I jumped into scrapbooking. I had started scrapbooking when I was younger and forgot about it. So about 4 garbage bags later of photos and about 10 new scrapbooks, I got through that. And so I would do them with my nieces and nephews that I couldn't see. So we would have like coloring dates, but I would scrapbook and they would color and we would bond. So it was a really fun activity. And it's also really reflective in a lot of processes. So it was good for my mental health to see like where I've been and where I've gone and all those memories you kind of forget about unless you open the photos. So it's very exciting and I'm going to pass it back to Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you, Odin. I love it. Being creative helps us survive. When I say I did the yoga, I mean, I completed a 200-hour yoga teacher training. So I'm now also certified to teach yoga anywhere in North America. And I published a book because we had so much time. Next up, and last but not least, Sony Dasmapatra, who will be leading our discussion on work-life effectiveness and setting boundaries for all of us high achievers in the room. Sony.
Thank you so much, Interviewers. Thank you, Sarah. So my name is Sony Dasmapatra, and during the day, I work at the government of Alberta, but I also have a business called Lunar Room. And like Sarah just said, the yoga piece. So what happened when the pandemic started was I was in India, in the Himalayan mountains, doing my yoga certificate. I ended up coming back to Edmonton the day before they shut the borders. So I felt so fortunate to be able to come home to my kids who were waiting for me and be able to really explore this concept of lunar room. So lunar room is really looking at our womb centers and how they connect to the nature, how they connect to the moon cycles, and how everybody's womb center has their essence of creativity. So that's what I'm bringing as part of this work-life balance and effectiveness, because if we don't tap into our core, into our center, how do we know to balance those things? 2 binges that I had. So like Sarah, when I returned, I was really into the yoga space. What I found in Edmonton was there was like a lot of different yoga that I felt was not really addressing some of the pieces around decolonization. What does yoga look like in terms of a Western practice as opposed to Eastern practice? And how do we really take indigenous knowledge from other people, other spaces, and translate it into what is today and what is now? So I did a whole bunch of workshops and I led a BIPOC circle. And I really wanted to bring that kind of wellness and healing to everybody because I felt like, especially with COVID, it's a time to come together when we couldn't come together to explore those things. And like Sarah said, creativity. I also threw myself back into the arts. When I was a child in Edmonton, I used to dance, I used to do theater, but for a long time I didn't do that. So I joined Third Space Theater, and I really had an opportunity to build my sort of theater space. I learned classical Indian dance, so we started dancing again, and my 3 children made a little band, so they used to sing. So everything sort of worked out to create that space of creativity in our house, to reconnect with things that were lost. And also the main thing that we did was rest. Because as a culture, we do not rest enough, we do not leave time to rest. So I think resting was such a blessing during the pandemic. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Sony. I love what you said about resting, because in some ways, all of us who love to do lots of things and are always looking to the next thing and helping others and achieving, it's also a trauma response. And so understanding how to rest and sit with whatever your stuff is has been also really valuable. I'm really excited to get into these discussions. So thank you so much for sharing. And I look forward to all of these new friends that we have already made tonight. We're excited to get the rest of you and to get into the rooms and to get a chance to dive deeper into these discussions. And each breakout room is going to have, you will stay with your breakout room, but the expert speakers will change. So the topics will continue to change, but you just need to stay where you are. But before we do that, let's do a little poll from the group. And I'll get the team, I don't know if I'll just call you Peg, to display our poll. Or do I just say it? Okay, I think maybe I just say it. Sorry, I did another virtual event.
It's coming, it's coming.
Okay.
It says the poll is not.
I can just say it.
It's technical difficulties. Okay, so we're going to do it verbally.
That happens. I'll say it, and then what we can do is just dump it in the chat, and then we'll have a big poof. It'll be great. The poll is, why are you here tonight? And I guess you can just make up your own answer if you have a different one. 1, to connect with my community. 2, to learn from local experts. 3, to move forward with optimism. Or 4, all of the above. Yes, and I'm just opening my chat so I can take a look at this. That's right. 3 is a big one, to move forward with optimism. Absolutely, absolutely. Local experts, connect with your community. We are all here and we are here for you. Now, I'm really excited, and I'll also be joining all of you in the breakout rooms tonight, so we'll all get to jam together. Now, we're ready to put you in your first breakout, and you're going to get to know each other without the speaker present. So don't worry, you're going to have an InterVivos board member and volunteer, or board members and volunteers plural, on hand. They will be your guides for the evening and help you facilitate what's happening in the room. The first breakout room is the chance to get to know the people you're going to be spending the largest portion of your time with. And then you'll also get to know your facilitator and your note taker. So after 10 minutes, we're going to put a speaker in that room, and then you will continue until you've met all 5 experts. So attendees, please stay in your breakout room for the duration of the event. The speakers are going to be the ones rotating, so you can just hang and we will have a chance to visit with all of them. There will be a facilitator in each group. They're guiding the conversation. There's a volunteer note taker. Oh, right, so feel free to take your own notes, but there will be a note taker there to help just capture key messages or takeaways from the discussion, so you don't have to worry about being super on if you don't want to. They're going to be keeping track of all that on a thinking canvas. So if you don't know what that means, you will find out soon enough. When there's 1 minute left in the rotation, you will get a notice from the InterVivos crew to let you know that the rotation's coming to an end, so you can wrap it up before that speaker gets transported to the next room. And in about, not quite an hour, but at 8:05, there's going to be a 10-minute intermission. So that's going to be a time to take your bio break, chat with your breakout group, get snacks for your children, or have a moment of reflection. And this is a friendly community evening. Please get snacks for your children at any point in the evening. Please make sure that you have your pink wine in a cup that also looks like a duck. You can't really tell. And enjoy your evening, because we are friends just spending a nice time together. If you get disconnected from the event and you get booted out or something strange happens to you, it is okay. Just click back in, re-enter the event via the Zoom link, and InterVivos will put you back where you were. And if there's any other kind of difficulty and you just don't know what to do, or you need some sort of help, you can just email connect@intervivos.ca, and I'll let Peg put that in the chat. and a board member is monitoring that all night long, or you can message PEG and we will help take care of you. All right, so without further ado, we are going to our breakout rooms.